Welcome to Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation possible. You will get to hear from CSIA system integrators and industry partners to get a better understanding of how they help their clients solve process challenges and how they've earned success in their careers. Along the way, we will touch on system integration best practices, technology, trends, and challenges. Whether you are a manufacturer, end user, supplier, or system integrator, you will enjoy the insights these industry professionals bring to this podcast. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Lisa Richter, the host of Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation and processing possible. In today's episode, we're talking industrial automation with John Weber, who is president and founder of Software Toolbox, an industrial control software supplier focused on software tools and add-on products that complement and complete solutions that often involve other major software suppliers' products. John's early career assignments included product support, technical sales engineering at GE, and technical sales and marketing at a large full-line automation distributor in the Southeast U.S. John went on to found Software Toolbox in 1996, pioneering the online evaluation, sales, and support of software products for industrial control. At Software Toolbox, John leads a team of 17 people who are passionate about customer experience and have virtually helped thousands of clients around the world succeed. The team's focus is on providing a total experience beyond just the software product that assures success and maximizes results for users, integrators, and OEMs. In addition to leading Software Toolbox, John is co-chair of the CSIA Partner Committee. John, welcome to the podcast.
Lisa, thanks for having me.
Let's start at the beginning. Why did you choose a career in industrial automation, or maybe the career chose you?
I love this question because the career chose me. Yes, all of us engineers, you'd like to think we have plans and all of that. But yeah, that's not always the kind of person I am. Doesn't mean I don't plan, but the way it went's like this. 4-year engineering degree, I still didn't want to know what I wanted to do with myself. Typical 22-year-old. I knew I had a lot of different interests, and I knew that I'd get bored quickly if I was doing the same thing and never felt boxed in. I love seeing how things work and how things are made. I used to read the Way Things Work book. My dad had got me that when I was a kid. I wanted to see the world. I had a passion for that. So I was looking for that in a career. I came out of college in the late 80s. It was a fabulous time. Most of my peers and I in our program had a lot of options, ranging from IT to manufacturing engineering, consulting with the big 5 consulting firms back then, to technical sales, you name it. So it was a great time. I really got lucky there. During college, I'd worked for a Hewlett-Packard dealer while I was in school, and I'd been part of the PC revolution. I joke with young people now, I was the kids playing with the Radio Shack computers in the early 80s. So I always had this bent towards IT. And what the PC revolution was phenomenal. It was a freight train, which nothing compared to what the internet's done for us. But one of the companies I interviewed was a couple parts of GE, but their automation group, back then it was called GE Fanuc. It was this bright, young, new 2-year-old joint venture with a Japanese company. There's that international piece, like, ooh, that's exciting. And then they said, yeah, we're programming our PLCs using PCs now, and we're the first to do that. I had no idea what a PLC was. Don't mind admitting it. Never seen one until I went on the factory visit and the interview to Charlottesville, Virginia. I was expecting something with a screen. And they showed me this thing and I went, what? Oh, well, sounds exciting. They work with all types of manufacturers. They said, you're going to get to see a lot of plants. Your first assignment's going to be right here at our headquarters, which has a manufacturing facility. They told me you're going to get all sorts of exposure. It's part of a corporate training program. That was one of the things my dad told me when I was trying to decide. I said, Dad, how do I do this? And he says, well, who's going to give you more than a job? And gee, it was more than a job. There's a lot of value add there. So that's how I ended up there in automation. Then I walked in, my first job, they took me down to tech support and said, hi, this is Larry. He's your first manager. I went, what? Tech support? I thought I was going to this program. They said, talk to Larry. You'll understand. And he sat me down and told me what I was going to be doing and said, you need to learn communication. Learn communications. You'll be glad you did. It's hard. Everybody thinks it's harder than it is, but it's really important. It's going to become more important. Boy, did I not realize how prophetic Larry was. And I'm thankful to him to this day. 3 months into the job, they took me to the new GM Saturn plant in Tennessee. Now, this is 1990, shiny new plant, new manufacturing, new automation, everything new. And the hook just really started to set there. 3 years later, I'd been moved to South Carolina, field technical role, working with a lot, driving all over. I've been to every plant in South Carolina. I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy Wright Sullivan, who I met that year in December 1990. He was working for an integrator. That's how I found out what an integrator was. Wright explained it to me. And just a lot of fun with that. And then 3 years later, my distributor hired me with the lure of, yeah, well, you've got PLCs and you've got some HMI there at GE, but look at all this other cool stuff we have. Motion, vision, sensors, everything in automation. Well, remember how I said I got bored? Sorry, GE, it's not that I was getting bored, but that was really bright and shining, and now I was 25, and, well, you're full of bright, shiny things. So that's how my career got started and how automation chose me.
So let's switch a little bit more to your company then. Let's talk about the history of Software Toolbox, how it began and how it's evolved.
So Software Toolbox was born 25 years ago last month, at least on paper. Watching the Summer Olympics this year, I remember the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, going to them, because I live 2 hours away, streaming the opening ceremonies over a dial-up modem, which some of my peers in CSA will remember those days. The younger folks may go, are you kidding me? I go, well, yeah, it worked, kind of, but it was cool. So I don't want to sound like a reminiscent guy here, but I want to focus on the problem that we set out to solve. In all those experiences I had in automation, I'd always tended towards software because of that growing up with it and liked working with it. Well, I'm working for a distributor, and we had, at one point, I think 3 different HMI products we were selling. And the thing about it is, when you go to sell these big systems, all our big, great partner vendors can't do it all. And there were always third-party products that added on, completed the picture. But the problem was, they were all great companies, great developers, but there was a challenge out there. I'd have a big, big deal depending on getting more information about a product. Remember, folks, this is 1993 through 96. Al Gore hadn't created the internet yet, or at least given it to all the rest of us. We all know the real truth. Anyway, so it was very slow to get information, get pricing, and then these folks often were integrators like you. So this software they were selling was kind of a side business, and they had to focus on what paid most of the bills. So it was really slowing things down. And then I get the products and they were great. And I realized, something's missing here. So set that over here. Then I started losing sales of HMIs to people writing their own little applications using these new tools that were available from Microsoft with Visual Basic. I was going, what? And we're also struggling with the whole thing of customers wanting to choose best of breed software. And the problem is the stuff didn't talk to each other. You had to buy toolkits and a developer. It just didn't play. Well, around 95, I hear about this thing called the OPC standard being created. A bunch of the big vendors were getting together and saying, let's figure out a way to have a standard so all our stuff can play nice together. And I went, wait a minute. If all of a sudden a piece of software could be written and play with all these others, first of all, that's going to help all these folks writing it. But second of all, somebody has to be the one to help integrators, OEMs, and users find, evaluate, buy, and be there to give them support. Because it wasn't just about the software. If you draw a donut and the whole is just the software. Sorry, developers, don't mean to devalue you, but trying to share the picture of it was about the whole, it was all these other things. So the idea of Software Toolbox was, let's go to all these third parties, let's get them together, and understand this is 1995. Let's put together a catalog and get a mailing list and mail out a catalog, because that's how we all of us buy our parts for our PCs right now. You get the PC Connection was one of the big ones. That's who I bought everything from. And Black Box Corporation, too. Those two, you get their catalog, and man, it's great. Then you can call and talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. So Software Toolbox is about bringing that idea to the industrial automation industry. And we've evolved, obviously, now 25 years later. Customers in probably over the years, 130, 140 countries. The catalog, we don't do that anymore. That lasted about 2 years because the U.S. market was a little slow to get comfortable with the idea of the internet. But by fall 96, we were selling software on the internet to people in other countries because they were isolated and the internet connected them to the rest of the world. So that blew open that whole global interest that I had, that all of a sudden I'm spending my days and nights emailing with people all over the world and just going, wow, this is awesome. I cannot control the train.
Oh, that is a train. It's a real life choo-choo.
I'm about 200 feet from a train track.
It's such an old school sound, though, that literally a choo-choo.
Yeah. Well, quick story about our office. We're sitting on a property that had a cotton gin standing on it from the 1800s until Hurricane Hugo blew it down in 1989. The side street is called Cotton Gin Alley, and our building is here. The cotton during the 1800s, early 1900s, they would gin the cotton and load it on the train right there.
Wow.
So we've gone from Cotton Gin Alley to Silicon Alley here in Matthews, North Carolina. I know. Now we're doing everything over a piece of fiber behind my head. So.
I don't think young people or people who weren't adults or old enough to understand how truly revolutionary the internet is and continues to be. Like there's just no way to articulate.
I was talking about this with my 22-year-old daughter last night, about to go off to graduate school. And she's young enough, she remembers the family computer. Or she's old enough, I guess. Her younger sister doesn't remember as much. There's 3 years age difference, but Katie remembers the family computer. You look at what it did for Software Toolbox. I had this dream of people around the world and getting to see people and have friends all over the world. Well, it wouldn't have happened without the internet, because we started this little website, and all of a sudden we're spending all our time on that, and it just goes and goes and goes. And it kind of jumps ahead a little into our focus on customer experience. But one of the things we've gotten good at is working with folks virtually, because it's in our DNA. We were born that way. I'd spent 7 years flying all over the U.S., traveling all over South Carolina, driving 3.5 hours each way for a 1 hour meeting. So the idea of starting a company where I could, sit at my desk and be home and interact with people all over the world, wow, that's cool. What's really cool is when we finally started to get to see them. Company got big enough, we were able to afford to travel and go out and see them and go to conferences. It was like family reunions, because we had been working for years with some of these people, and we got to meet them in person, and just the relationships just went to a whole nother level. And it's just been a total joy for me personally, for my family, but also for our team. Who's we look forward to that returning. Boy, are we excited for the CSIA 2022 conference.
Yeah, we are too. I think a lot
Gotta
of people
give Jose a plug, for that. Everybody stay safe out there. This is my PSA for be smart, be safe, and so we can all be together.
Yeah. So. For context, Jose is Jose Rivera, who is my boss and CEO of CSA.
Sure. Sorry.
Can't assume. I mean, a lot of people know Jose, that's for sure, but maybe not everybody.
Yeah, that's fair, Lisa. So, so at the end of the day, where we are now, 25 years later, all these customers and strong loyal following, we've gotten known for we have your back, and we know you don't just go on a website and buy software. You need that support, just like you can depend on CSIA members and CSIA certified members. So that's how we evolved. I don't know if there's other question you had there.
Well, let's move on.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you now if you specialize in any industry, product, or discipline.
I would say I'll start by saying we specialize in customer experience. And I know that's cool and everybody says that now. I'd say we've been doing it since day one. We were very early on to that concept, because it goes back to our founding and recognize that it wasn't just about the software. It was about being able to have somebody who had a variety of software and the knowledge of how it played together, played with other people's software. It was really dedicated to the fact that, hey, everything's got to play nice and work together. And guess what? We're just one piece of the puzzle. So after that, product-wise, as I said earlier, it's all add-ons or things that can be put together to solve problems, a lot based off of standards. Big believer in standards, big supporter of the OPC standards. And now things like MQTT and all the IoT technologies. In terms of industries, that's kind of like my career. We didn't set out to target any one industry, because they all have this same problem. They need to have data so they can know about problems before they ruin their day, week, month, quarter, or career. And we help them do that. We've had a lot of success in a lot of industries: oil and gas, mining, food and beverage, renewable energy. places where people have critical data needs. But part of the fun of this is that we work with so many industries and we kind of get to see things go around the world. And that's part of what attracts young people to working at Software Toolbox is they realize, gee, I'm not going to be sitting in a job just doing one thing. So
why do your customers return to you project after project?
Because they know we have their back and they have an experience when they work with our team. I can give you an example. When they download a piece of software, they're welcome to call system integrator, your engineers, CSIA members, your engineers are welcome to call and talk to our product tech support team, just like as if they had bought the product. And they're going to work with you and help you just as if you bought the product, because ultimately we want them to succeed. And we'd rather have you trial it, figure it out, ask all the questions you want, and let's make sure it works. And if it doesn't work, we're also known, I'm going to steal a page from the Nordstrom theory. I just as soon tell you where and send you somewhere else in the hopes you'll come back and maybe we'll be able to help you next time. So that's really, really our differentiator. I'm sure if you asked any of the SIs that work with this, our customer, that's what they'd say.
Are you interested in the latest products and services for system integration? Maybe you buy them. Maybe you sell them. Either way, CSIA has you covered. We're launching 2 new member benefits for system integrators and industry partners to really shine this year. The first is Innovation for Integration, a new semi-annual EPUB for CSIA members to share the industry's newest offerings at a glance. The second new member benefit will get CSIA members in front of the trade press. It's a quarterly news release letting editors know your unique value proposition or special sauce. Of course, these are in addition to the many other membership benefits you unlock when you join. Now is the perfect time to sign up because we've put together a special bundle of benefits for first-timers, including mid-year discounts. Learn more at www.controlsys.org/shine. What are you waiting for? Your future's so bright, you gotta wear shades. Yikes, who writes this copy anyway? What advice would you give to a prospective customer researching you versus your competitors?
That's a good one. And this is actually something I talked about in the April CSIA newsletter, which you can go find on the CSIA website, go under news, newsletter articles. But I like to talk about this concept, and we do on our team, of success assurance. That's the positive version of risk reduction. We're engineers, we tend to say risk reduction, but let's be positive energy here and look about success assurance. And the 5 things are, I call them testing, trying, talking, expertise, and responsiveness. And earlier I talked about, does the vendor let you test the software? Can you try it out? Can you work with them? Have they tested it? If they have an OPC product, have they put it through the OPC testing lab? Talking, yes, human contact. I think we all learned something in the pandemic about the value of that. We don't mind if you call and talk to us. I know, amazing. Get things happen, can get done faster when you talk. Does the vendor have expertise in the area? How much expertise do the people you're talking to have in the software? And not everybody can know everything. That's really important here, because otherwise this automation software world can intimidate somebody new joining this industry. Well, one of the things our team's known for is if you don't know the answer, then get with somebody on the team who does and get them involved. There's 2 right answers. There's 2 right answers to every question. The right answer, and I do not know, but I will find out, and I know somebody over here who can help and get it done. And then responsiveness, speed. Everybody has projects to do. We really try to pride ourselves on how quickly we respond to inquiries and to helping, because we know your billable time is incredibly valuable. And we know the risks associated with wasting it and what it takes for you to have success on a project. So again, testing, trying, talking, expertise, and responsiveness.
What kinds of trends and challenges are you seeing in industrial automation right now?
Boy, yeah, they're out there, and I think all of our SI members and partners all have the same issue. It's a combination of things. It's people, because historically we haven't been a cool industry, and I'm out there trying to evangelize to young people. Well, it really is cool how things get made. And I do some speaking at some universities to try to help with that. And I encourage any of you, if you have time and you're willing to do it, evangelize this world that we live in. But it's also the convergence of IT and OT, or operations technology. Those worlds, I saw this happen 30 years ago because I came from the IT world, having worked for Hewlett Packard dealer, that I was going, oh, look, automation hasn't done the things we did 5 years ago in IT. Those timeframes are collapsing now, and they're all getting merged together. But when that happens, we have this overwhelming pace of new technology that we as suppliers have to understand, you as SIs have to understand, our partners have to, and we don't have enough people to do it. And I think that's going to be the challenge for everybody over the next 10 years. I don't think it's insurmountable, but we're going to have to work together to help take care of it.
What makes you optimistic about the future of the automation industry?
Well, here's the irony of this one. The exact problem I mentioned today is what makes me optimistic, because we're all serving manufacturing and industry. And in my world, people ask me what business are you in? They're like, oh, manufacturing. I go, yeah, but there's mining, building automation, oil and gas, renewable energy, all that. It's industrial. Not enough people to do the work. So our customers have the same problem. And if you're a CSIA member and you've listened to any of the ITR economics events they've done, or listened to their podcasts, if you haven't, you should. And you should tell your customers to, because they're great evangelists for the next 10 to 15 years. Automation to improve capital utilization is the solution. And so we all have a bright future. As hard as it's going to be for us to do the job, our customers need us.
Why did you become a member of CSIA?
Because I believe in integrators, and I don't mean to sound corny or anything, but remember my first 6 years of my career, I worked with end users, integrators, and OEMs. I saw good integrators. I saw not so great integrators. I got that call at 1 a.m. as the person with a GE Fanuc business card, and I had to drive out to a plant because my company's name was on the hardware. And come to find out, maybe the integrator hadn't done such a great job. I also came to value and appreciate good integrators. Again, I'm going to go back to my buddy Wright Sullivan, because he and his colleagues that he worked with really showed me what a good integrator does. And his company and another integrator in South Carolina really just showed me they were hard. They held my nose to the grindstone as a vendor, but I learned from them, even more so, how important the details were. And from that, I realized, boy, integrators are key. I watch people leave big engineering firms and go to work for integrators and continue their careers there. So when I started this company, it was, and CSI was just getting started. We started in 96. CSI was not very old. A friend who ran an integrator, sorry, it wasn't right, another person, told me about CSI and said, boy, you better join that. You need to go to their conference, because those people need what you're doing at Software Toolbox. So I knew no better way to grow my business than that. And from there, I learned about things I had no idea as I sat there and listened to Integrator Owner Group Therapy in West Palm Beach in 97.
Is that what we're calling the conference now?
Well, it was back then, because it was a small group, and I watched them debate whether to do certification, how to do it, for 3 or 4 hours. And some of the luminaries of CSI that are out there that I love to this day, I watch them have passionate discussions about it. And I realized, wow, if we didn't have CSI, this wouldn't be happening. And then I started seeing how they're all helping each other and they're getting better. And at that point, I became, wow, yeah, I did this. I came to this first because it was about me. Okay. I was selfish. But boy, did I learn, forget about me. If I help CSIA in any way I can, that's going to make the whole automation world better. The pie is going to get bigger. The bay is going to get bigger and fill up with more water, and we're all going to benefit. And I've just tried to passionately live that over the last 20-something years. That's why once my kids got big enough I could travel to conferences again more, I started getting involved in the partner committee and just helping CSIA out. It's the Charlie Bergman theory. We all get better when we share and help each other.
Are your accounting systems optimized for the needs of your system integration business? Do you understand the KPIs critical to business performance? And are you prepared to proactively manage your short and long-term cash needs while minimizing your tax liabilities? Well, I've got some super exciting news to share about a brand new CSIA financial checkup program brought to you by long-term member Clayton and McCurvey, CPAs for System Integrators. Now, if you are a CSIA member, you will have access to this exclusive program designed to bring you support in 4 key financial areas: accounting systems, performance metrics, tax planning, and cash management. Plus, CSIA has negotiated special member pricing and packages at various price points to fit your budget. Clayton and McCurvey has helped many CSIA members over the years and is super excited to help you improve your financial performance through this program. To learn more, visit www.controlsys.org/checkup. So tell me what you think the biggest benefit of CSA membership is, either from a partner supplier perspective or for a system integrator, or both.
I'm going to do both. There's a common one because we're all business owners. And I realize we're getting more and more, people that aren't the owners involved, but maybe someday they want to be owners. It is a fabulous forum to learn from each other because we all have common problems. Vendors, SIs, they just have different names. Some of them are on 2 legs, some of them are technology, some are legal. So that's the common one. I think for a CSIA member, that gets amplified by the access to the standards, all the learning programs CSIA puts on, and certification. I look at certification and go, what a handbook to aspire to build your business, because we're all mortal and someday, we want to leave something, a legacy. CSIA provides a great handbook, and along the way, it's successful because it makes things better for a customer. Just like I'm into success assurance with what I do at Software Toolbox and my team does, that we talk about this in our training, it's the same deal for the SIs. It's success assurance for the users. So to me, anybody who joins CSIA and participates in anything is already a notch above it, and somebody who doesn't. And then when you someday get to certification, boy, be proud.
What about for partner members? What do you say the benefits are for partner members?
Well, even if you're not an owner, I'm going to flip it around because I've had this conversation because people go, John, you're the business owner. I just work for company, Big Co X. That's all interesting. I say, well, there's 2 parts here. Number one, if you look at how those owners think, that's how the owners of your Big Co X are thinking, your managers, your senior managers are thinking. It's also how your customers are thinking. So it's like getting to read the playbook of your customer. So that's an important part of it. And then from a networking point of view, you can go to all the big shows and they're great. I've done it. I do it when I can. But this is such a focused knit group where everybody really wants to share. You're not going to find a better networking opportunity. CSIA is what you put into it. One of the first things I did when I joined the partner committee was I worked with a great team of people on the partner committee. And we wrote a guide to how to get the most out of the conference. And if you think it's showing up for the 2 hours to do the 2-hour expo and leaving, get the guide. It's in the connected community. You're just not going to find a better place to build those relationships. And if that doesn't help your business right away, it will someday. And it'll help your career too, whether that's at whatever company you're at now or somewhere down the road. So consider it not just an investment in your employer's success, but in your personal success.
From a supplier perspective, why should a prospective customer hire a CSIA integrator member or a CSIA certified member?
Well, speaking from the supplier's perspective, we put our stuff out there, our name's on it. We all try to build quality products. We all do. And we want our customers to succeed. And, I'm a systems engineer by training. So I have a hard time looking at a single component without going, yeah, but what about all the interactions? Well, with integrators, systems integrators, the name is just there for a reason. And you need that. I want success. I don't want that call that says your product failed and find out it's because somebody misconfigured it. So very selfishly as a supplier, you want a quality integrator. The easiest way to do that is pick somebody who's CSIA certified, and no slight to certified members, or at least a member. And you can have a conversation with them about how active they are. Ask them. And yeah, I'm encouraging members to do more than just pay the fee and put the badge on their website. because it lowers my risk, and that ultimately lowers our customers' risk. So
we're going to completely switch tracks now.
okay.
And I'm going to ask you a question. If you had to choose a completely different career, what would you choose?
Well, I don't know if I would. Are there times I wish I had? Yeah. You start up a company in 1996 in an industry that's not real flashy, that you can't draw a hockey stick revenue curve on, if you want to be honest, to investors. And you're watching the dot-com boom happening around you. Yeah, I won't say there weren't times where I was going, why don't I just switch gears and go make a ton of money in this dot-com boom and then go off and be a outdoors guide or photographer or something like that. And yeah, those were things I was interested in, but unfortunately they weren't very lucrative. And they say do what you love, the money follows. But yeah, sometimes that's easier said than done. And boy, anybody who's done that, I admire you completely. So now someday, yeah, I'll retire from this, but I won't be bored. I won't be content to sit around. So if I had to choose a career after this, I'd say, I sure would like the opportunity to share what I've learned with people that are coming behind doing this industry, other industries, and if health and fitness allows, do more with the outdoors. It's where I go to reset my brain, reset my soul, and find peace when I need it.
What's the best advice you could give your younger self just getting started?
Be flexible. You're going to get into a job, and it might not be what you think, but the universe has a plan, and view everything as a learning opportunity. And your managers will appreciate you. Don't be afraid to take that geographically undesirable job. When you're young, that's the time to just do stuff, go places. It's okay to fail. Like any engineer, I had that fear of failure and kind of had to have life thump it out of me, I always say. And, if you're a driven individual, I didn't realize this, but I didn't realize how important this was until I became a manager. And I would have told I'd go back and tell my young self this, that, when you see problems and come to your manager with ideas and you want to help solve them, you may be scared to come to them. I certainly was. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? Now, having been a manager for 25 years, I go, oh, you may be making that manager's day, because they may very well know about the issue you have, but don't have the time to do anything about it. And here's somebody energetic, interested, who wants to do something about it and help grow the business. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid. If you think it, say it gently, ask it gently. I guess would be a way to sum up all of that, Lisa.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Talking Industrial Automation. If you're interested in learning more about John Weber or Software Toolbox, you can find them on the Industrial Automation Exchange at www.CSIAexchange.com. Thanks for listening, and thank you, John, for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a total pleasure, Lisa.
If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also help others find us by leaving a 5-star review and sharing your favorite episodes with colleagues. Thanks for listening to the Talking Industrial Automation podcast. Thanks also to bensound.com and Wistia for the music bumpers. Until next time.